Hey guys, so I just wanted to share a quick story. I don't really talk about a lot of things regarding myself personally on this channel. And life is real. And the name of this channel and podcast is the Being Beautifully Honest channel. So I'm just going to be beautifully honest and let you guys know about some things that it's just really serious. And until you go through it, if you hear the stories, then it's just like, oh, wow. And then you kind of move on with your lives. And I believe because so many things happen in life, we kind of get either closed off or we kind of get cold or just kind of numb to, things that are happening because there's just a lot of terrible things happening in the world and, in our country, in our state, in our cities. But, and not to go into a whole lot of details because even though it affects me, it's not me personally that's going through this, but my spouse is a veteran. He was diagnosed with complex PTSD in 22. But he's had it before then. That's just when the diagnosis happened. And that came from me pushing for him to get tested because there would be bouts of things, outbursts or anger or things like that, that just wasn't like your common thing, especially when you know someone. Because I've been married for 26 years. My husband is my best friend. I love him. We met in high school, and I'm not, saying that the relationship is perfect because nobody's is. I am just here to say that when you know someone, you know someone. So when things start, happening and you know that they have been in situations or in places in life that have been dangerous, it affects them. But because you weren't there, you don't really know how much it has affected them. And you hear PTSD a lot, and I feel like it's a term, even like narcissist is overused because not every person that is conceited or prideful or whatever is a narcissist. And not every person that has had some situation that happened to them in life has post-traumatic stress disorder. But I also will say, not everyone that's been in a combat or a war zone, you cannot be in a combat or a war zone and experience PTSD as well. So that's what I wanted to say with regards to that. It is a term that's overused, but PTSD, especially for veterans, is a real thing. I have had a situation that happened, actually a few situations that happened last week and this week. And finally, my husband is getting the treatment that he needs because I just couldn't do it all on my own. I spent the better part of Monday and Wednesday this week at the Veterans Hospital with him for outpatient appointments. But I've been saying that he needs to be inpatient because he really needs complex therapy for the PTSD, for possibly bipolar. I don't know. He has not been diagnosed with that, but they said they wanted to test him for that, as well as he has been self-treating the PTSD with alcohol heavily. And alcohol is a drug. It is a legal drug. It's one that's extremely dangerous and overused and celebrated to the point where I just kind of get sick of it because I know that it can really destroy people. I'm not here to say having a glass of wine or, a cocktail every now and then is a terrible thing. But even the Bible doesn't say don't drink, but it says be not drunk with wine. So it means never be like consumed where it consumes you and it overtakes you. And because he has been dealing with the demons in his mind, affecting his memory, his, functions, he hasn't been himself. So he hasn't been able to work. Like he is literally disabled for the past year. So to see someone that has been the leader of my family, the strong person, taking care of me, taking care of our son, taking care of our home, whether he is, here or deployed, it really has been hard to be now in the space that I'm in, pretty much being his caretaker. But it got pretty dangerous, where we had to get the authorities involved, and it wasn't to a point where it was like a criminal thing, but I'm saying it could have wound up being that had he not been taken into emergency protective custody. So that's pretty much what's going on right now, and I'm so grateful for it, but it's still a scary thing for me. But because I am a woman of faith and I truly trust and believe God that he has me at all times, even when I feel like the Bible says, the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And I believe that that was the goal, to try to, get control of my husband where he could try to take me out, because he has had thoughts of taking his life. And we've just seen too many stories where people who have been in that place where they don't only take themselves out, they take someone else out too. And that's not a person that was abusive or a person that is a murderer, but that's a person that is sick. And unfortunately, in this country, we don't address mental health. We don't take it seriously. And I was, when my husband had been in his spaces of being himself and being able to have a coherent conversation, I would say to him, baby, the brain is a body part. So just like last year when you almost lost your life, he actually had an angioedema. He had an allergic reaction to high blood pressure medication. And it was so scary. It actually happened last September, where I just happened to be here at the time. And he passed out in front of me. He had an allergic reaction to the high blood pressure medication. And I'll show pictures of what an angioedema looks like. I'm not going to show pictures of him, but it makes your air passages, your tongue, your lips, it like all swells up to the point where it could cut off your breathing and you could die. I got him to the emergency room in enough time, and they said that had it been a few more minutes, he possibly would not have made it, because when I was driving him to the hospital, he was saying, he couldn't really speak that well, but he was pretty much trying to say, I don't think I'm going to make it. I was praying, I'm driving, I had my mom on speakerphone, she's praying, I'm driving him to the emergency room, got him in there, they took him back immediately. That was a scary situation. Never experienced anything like that before. That was a physical situation. So I was trying to explain to him, your brain is not functioning the way that it normally would. And unfortunately, when it comes to people, unless it's someone that has, say, like a brain tumor or an aneurysm or brain cancer, God forbid, then they see it as like a health issue, but they don't see post-traumatic stress disorder. They don't see bipolar disorder. They don't see schizophrenia or other mental conditions as a health condition, but it's the brain. These things are happening because the brain isn't functioning the way that it normally would. There are chemical imbalances. This is all health. This is not someone that's just acting out and just being like a bad person. So I'm just saying that to say that I had to separate myself, because initially on Thursday, they would not involuntarily commit him to emergency protective custody, because that's the other thing too about PTSD and someone who's trying to be themselves. When it is people that they don't know in public, they're trying to present themselves normally. But around me, which, I'm the main person that's there because our son is an adult. He doesn't live with us anymore. So I'm the caregiver, and he knows me. So it's like around me, he is comfortable, so he can really, quote unquote, be himself and not have to put on a front, if you will. So the thoughts of taking his life, the speaking about it, the, depression, the other things that were being talked about, not to go into a whole lot of details, that stuff was scary. And to have strangers like first responders and, the police to be backup, to, make sure everything is okay and it doesn't go left, they couldn't, they were like, well, unfortunately, based on what he's saying right now, we can't put him into EPC. But if something else happens, you let us know immediately. And I'm telling these people, I have recordings, I have video, I have pictures, I have screenshots of text messages. What more do you need? Like, it was infuriating to me that they couldn't go off of the documentation that I already had versus, saying, okay, we need something more current. Yeah, we know you have something from last night and it's not even 24 hours later. We need something that he said or did 5 minutes ago. That's ridiculous. Do you know how quickly somebody could lose their life? So, but, and the other thing about it too that really made me angry was the fact that they said, well, based on the things that he's saying, we can't take him into emergency protective custody, but if you feel that he is a danger to himself and possibly you, we would recommend you leave. So we'll stay while you pack a bag and you go somewhere. And if he comes to where you are, don't answer the door. So what the hell are you talking about? If you're telling me that you feel like he could possibly be that dangerous to himself and maybe someone else, why wouldn't you go ahead and take him in versus letting him stay in his home, telling me to leave, and if he comes to where I am, don't answer the door for him? That was crazy to me. So I really had to go to God, and I prayed and I said, God, this has to end. I'm really tired of going through this. He's tired of going through it too, because he's expressed to them when he is in like a moment of being quote unquote himself, he's letting them know, I'm dealing with paranoia. I am dealing with depression. The PTSD is really bad. I am trying to self-treat. I'm not really taking my medication. I'm drinking a lot. It's getting worse. So he's admitted out of his own mouth that he really needs help, but yet you all are hesitant to just go ahead and put him in inpatient so that he can really get that deep therapy and treatment and medication that he needs. So just to, kind of sum this up, because I don't want to make it really long, guys, I stayed away and I, went somewhere else. He came to where I was and I was nervous. So I did contact the authorities to let them know. And then they came out and they spoke to him and they told him just to go home. And I had a conversation with them. Someone else that I know that was with me at the time had a conversation with them. She actually broke down crying, speaking to them. And I was trying to stay strong. I shed some tears, of course, but she just broke down crying. She said, please do something. Don't let anything happen to her. And please don't even let anything happen to him. Please do what you can, because I've been through this before. And she has. The person that was with me, she went through a situation many years ago with her family member. He wasn't in the military, but he had some mental health, issues. And unfortunately, he's no longer here. But also my friend who I had spoken to in months, something just said, shoot her a text asking her to pray for you. And I did on Thursday night. And I fell asleep. I woke up to a text message from her that next morning, and she had texted me that night, but I didn't see it because I'd already fell asleep. She sent me a text to let me know. She said, hey, where are you? Are you safe? Because I didn't go into any details. I didn't tell her anything about what was going on. She knows my husband has PTSD, but I just sent her a text asking her to pray for me. And that was it. I just left it at that. I said, hey, hope all is well for you, well with you. I know I haven't spoken to you in a while, but just asking for your prayers. And, I hadn't been around in a while because I've been staying away from Facebook. And I just left it at that. So she sent me a text that night that I saw the next morning where she said, I'm praying. Are you safe? She said, I just got back from California. My dad has PTSD and he took his life and my uncle's life, which was her father's brother. She had just got back from California. I hadn't spoken to her in months. She didn't know what I was going through and experiencing. So to me, that was like a huge sign to let me know yeah, we really got to do what we got to do to get him real help and not put this off, because if we do, he possibly will not be here anymore, and it could be possible that there might be something that could happen to you too. And I didn't have like any real fear, because like I said, I truly am a woman of faith, and I believe God leads me, guides me, and directs me. And I just didn't feel led to come to my house to be with him by myself. And I'm thankful that I didn't. So when they came here to get him, the officer told me that they had gotten permission from their superiors to take him into emergency protective custody, but they wanted me to make sure that the veterans hospital would take him in, not just like turn him around and send him back, because you never know. And so I contacted his PTSD psychologist and the social worker at the VA to speak about what was going on, and they assured me that they would definitely see him, and thankfully, he is safe. But when I came home yesterday, after they had already taken him to the hospital, my suspicions were right. My husband has an arsenal of weapons, and he had 4 cases of weapons on our bed, in my bedroom. But all of them have gun locks. I locked them several months ago, and the psychiatrist had recommended that, because he does have a license to carry, but with him being in the state that he's in, it's not recommended that he has access to those. So those were locked, and I have the keys to the gun locks in a safe, and I'm the only one that has the key. And he was asking them for the key to the safe, and I knew why he was asking me for the key to the safe. And I'm just so thankful that I was standing my ground, and I told them he's not getting the key, because they didn't know. They don't know. He wasn't in his right mind, but he was presenting himself, at least to them, regularly. If they don't know him, they would just think, oh, he's just a hyper, person, and he's, mad, and, maybe thinking things aren't, good between us at home. And we don't have any marital issues. Like I said, my husband is my best friend, but he's sick. He's mentally sick. And when you're mentally sick and you're dealing with paranoia and psychotic breaks, and I'm the caretaker, the person that is there all the time, then, and I've heard this story from people a lot, sometimes they turn on the ones that are there to take care of them. And so it's been really tough, but God is tougher. I'm standing strong in him. He's keeping me, and, all is well. Things will get better. I really, truly believe that. But I haven't been able to focus on, doing any other work this week or last week, for that matter. Besides going into my business to work with clients that are on my schedule, any other work, I just haven't been able to do anything. But now that he is in a space where he is safe and he's protected, I'm just really grateful for that. So, just kind of using this time to try to rest and allow God to restore me, to replenish me. I'm going to be in therapy because I'm not well after and during, these times of going through this. And now with things, getting ready to shift in a few months here, getting a new administration coming into place that really could give a damn about veterans, service people, mental health, people in general, overall, we really are going to have to do our best to look out for ourselves. So honestly, I'm not even sharing this information with you guys just for the sake of letting you know what's going on with me. But ultimately, just being beautifully honest, we really have to get in a place where we are looking out for ourselves and our own best interests. If you feel like you or someone that you know or love is going through mental health struggles, really take it seriously. And I know, and like I said before, it angers me because I know that there are a lot of people that use mental health as a crutch or an excuse when they may have some issues. I'm not saying that they don't at all. I'm not a doctor or psychiatrist or psychologist for that matter to diagnose people, but I do believe that a lot of people who are manipulative will use that for an excuse for their actions and behavior, when they're just nothing but a terrible a-hole, you know? And I can say for my husband, I know that's not him, but there have been moments where I've even questioned, because it's just like, okay, is this person just being an a-hole right now, or are they really sick? But because he has actually been diagnosed, I know that it's real. But because I'm also a human being too, and I have feelings and emotions and all that other stuff, I'm trying to process all of this. This has been a new part of my life that I'm trying to get adjusted to and trying to operate in, and also grow in it and grow from it. But with things about to shift here with the government in the next few months, I'm just here to say, don't rely on the government to help you out. Really invest in your own self-care. Do what you can, even, because I feel like some of us, or maybe all of us, have some unaddressed trauma. And I do believe that with my husband being a service member, being a veteran, also being a government contractor where he still worked for the military, maybe not in the military at those times, but has been on the bases, has been, on the bases and in the spaces where the Taliban has invaded and they raised the Taliban flag. People have gotten bombed. He's seen people pass away, all kinds of stuff. He's seen a lot of stuff that he has not even talked to me about. And I understand why, because he was trying to suppress it. We cannot suppress these things. We have to address the trauma that we have experienced in our lives. Face it and allow your faith to fix it. We cannot avoid these things forever, because ultimately it's going to come out in ways that are not going to be healthy. And that is one of the reasons why I should say I'm going through the things that I'm going through with my husband, because a lot of men don't take their health seriously. Physical health, let alone mental health. My God. And then, they think if something's wrong with them mentally, then that means that they're crazy, like that word crazy. And it's not fair. It's not. You really are mentally sick and you need to have it addressed. But unfortunately, a lot of men, they don't take any health seriously until the point where it is either too late, or drastic measures need to be taken that could have been avoided had you been really taking care of yourself. Like my dad, he's an amputee. I don't believe that he had to have his leg cut off if he was really taking care of himself and listening to my mom and not being hard-headed and doing things that he wasn't supposed to be doing and doing the things that he was supposed to be doing. Honestly, it's by the grace of God that he's even still alive. But that's another story for another day. I'm not going to go into all of that. But I'm just here to say that I'm grateful that my husband is still alive. I'm still here to tell the story, even though I'm not telling all of it, in this podcast right now, but just saying it really could have been a different story had I not been operating by my faith, not allowing them to dictate how I should, have things handled. And I kept advocating for him in spite of what they were telling me initially, because I honestly have been trying to get him in for treatment since last year. And it's now a year later, and this is where we are. It didn't have to go to this. If he had been more willing and listening more versus being hard-headed and, wanting to be that strong man. Every strong person has their weak times. And so you have to lean on other people. We can't be an island. We can't do it all on our own. So if you are that person where you feel like you're the strong one and you are used to doing everything, but you have these weak moments and these weak times, just rest, surrender, ask God to help you, ask God to put people in your life if you don't already have people in your life that can help you. And do what you need to do to live and to survive, and not just survive, but thrive. I've been existing for the past several years, but I still have dreams. I still have desires. I still want to live and I want to thrive. And I was talking to my business accountant on Tuesday, and he was speaking with me about some things, and I'm going to be going into some coaching with him because there's some things that I desire to see happen for my business. And he said something to me that I really felt like was like God speaking through him to me. He said, I want you to start dreaming again. And I was like, wow. because, I had kind of stopped dreaming because of everything that my husband has been going through. And it's made it hard for me to visualize. I would have my few little moments here and there, but for the most part, I used to be a big dreamer. It's one of the reasons why I had grown my business so much. But when I started experiencing things in my life professionally as well as personally, I went into a depression myself, and I kind of drew back. But doing this channel, sharing my thoughts on trending topics and stories and things like that is something that really has helped keep me going. It has become a hobby for me. This channel is not my business, it's a hobby. And I appreciate all of you who have taken the time to listen to any commentary that I've shared. That means a lot. There are millions of people on YouTube, and there are people who get millions of views. I appreciate the views that I do get. I don't sit and count the numbers, the views, and all the other stuff. I don't do that at all. I'm just grateful to be able to share it, record it, upload it, share it, and whoever listens and shares their comments or responds, I appreciate it so much. I may not respond to every comment, but honestly, like I share with you, I've just been going through a lot. So, there's a lot of times my mind just isn't even in a place to, one, share content, or two, even respond to comments. But it's nothing personal to you all. It's just personally things that I've been dealing with in my life. But I do believe that things are going to get better. I'm going to try my best to be as optimistic as I can in spite of this, most recent election and what may be happening, what may be coming. I don't know how soon, how quickly, how much of the things that he's wanting to implement that is not a positive for my life or your life is going to happen, but I'm going to do my best to just try to safeguard myself and my life as much as possible. So I encourage you to do the same. Protect your peace, protect your mental health, protect your family at all costs, and do what you got to do to advocate first for yourself and for the others that you love and support. Because like they say on the airplanes, put your oxygen mask on and then help someone else that needs the assistance, and before you help to secure even your own child. You can't help anybody else until you help yourself. So that's what I'm doing. And it's one of the reasons why I haven't been able to share any content really. I've done a couple of, pieces of content, but for all the things I've wanted to talk about and share my views on, I just couldn't do it. I really, my mind and even sometimes my body just wasn't in the place of even being able to talk about and critique or agree with, other people that are doing whatever, right now in the news or trending stories or reality or politics or whatever. So I'm getting back to that place. I'm grateful. I'm not going to just sit and cry all day. I got to be strong. I got to move forward and just believe that a brighter day is on the horizon. So I just wanted to do this vlog real quick and let you all know what's going on. Let you know that I really do appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this journey with me. And I look forward to sharing more. So take care of yourself. Take care of the ones you love. And you can subscribe if you haven't already. You can like this and support the channel by going to my links in the description box. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'm Beth, and I'm just being beautifully honest.